Welcome back to another episode of Scale Like a Savage, the podcast. I am Britany Boatwright, your co-host, checking in from Knoxville and Nashville, Tennessee. And today I have with me Jamie Seneca. Hey, Jamie, how's it going?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. Jamie is from Florida, y'all, South Florida, but she is still filming live from Big Sky, Montana. So beautiful where you are, Jamie.
I have mountains in the background right now that I'm viewing, and my internet's a little laggy, but we are here.
You do what we got to do. It's all part of scaling, baby.
Exactly.
Talking about somebody who has like scaled an organization. Like I know she's not the team leader, but she pretty much runs the damn show. We have a phenomenal guest on with us today, Amber Urlacher. Jamie, do you want to tell our listeners all about Amber before we let her get the ripping? Like y'all have to hear how phenomenal a woman she is.
So phenomenal and so inspiring. And I am so excited to introduce Amber. So 735 square feet. That's the apartment that Amber Urlacher was sharing with her ex-husband and two kids when this story starts. She was bankrupt. She was 266 pounds, and she was answering phones from a real estate desk for $12 an hour. She didn't just stay there. Today, Amber's the president and director of sales for the Grant Johnson Group, Real Broker, leading it to over 160 agents. And she didn't get there by forgetting where she came from. She got there by doing it. Amber built her leadership on the exact history that once had her boxed into 735 square feet with no way out. She's not teaching accountability and culture from a textbook. She's teaching it from the front desk, from the bankruptcy, and from every system that she had to build because no one was going to build it for her. So if you're still living in your own version of that apartment, whatever that looks like for you, this episode is for you. Amber is going to show you how she can make history become your blueprint. So we're so excited today to have you, Amber. And you can actually find her at grantjohnson.com or on Instagram, which is Urlacher Realtor. So we are so excited to have you here today, Amber.
Thank you. That intro almost got me a little teary.
I know, I got teary-eyed too. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Thank you for that.
Well, as I told you in pre-show, we take you back because I want our audience to like realize like now you got like the Grant Johnson Group. Y'all some my favorite people to follow. Like, first of all, Grant's just such a nice and charismatic leader. And he's like, I'm not the boss like these ladies are. And I'm just like, wow, how amazing and refreshing is that perspective to know that these ladies are the reason why our team, is who we are today. So, but we have to take people back to show like, hey, Amber, she's the real freaking deal, man. She's tough as hell.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I've been with Grant now. It'll be 11 years this October. Yeah. And different roles. I mean, obviously I started as an agent and just kind of built my way into leadership and ownership. And it's been fun.
Some fun.
Every day I get to show up to an office that I truly enjoy coming to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so refreshing.
Did Grant find you at this little tiny desk? Like, how did you guys even connect to take you from like working for like bare minimum at a desk? And then did he paint the vision and just find you? Like, I'm hearing stories like
He loves to share this story. This man lives to share the story. He found me on Craigslist. That's how old we are. So yeah, I started at the front desk, and there was a gal at that brokerage who had asked me to join a team and kind of help her form a team. And it was just a really bad fit. And she was a phenomenal woman, and I learned so much, but I could not grow under those conditions. And so I just kind of had that coming to Jesus meeting with myself and being like, what am I going to do? Do I go and find a day job and get a steady paycheck? Or do I really dive into this real estate thing? So I took a week, did probably 6 or 7 interviews. Grant, I believe, was probably my first one. And then I quick made calls to be like, who knows this guy? Like, is he legit? Like, am I going to be in a good space? What are his agent's average sales? I really tried to do a little due diligence there. And then I had an interview for a role that would have been licensed, but admin. And during that phone call, the guy said to me, I have to go off script and I need to talk to you like a father. And I'm going to say to you that if you want to be an actor, you need to stop working in the box office or you're never going to be happy. And so when he said that, it was like this whoosh, because he didn't say dad, he said father. And so I made the connection to a father, higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And I really took that to heart. And so my interview with Grant was great. I sat across from him and I said, if I were to ask you today, if you were to hire me, what would you say? And he said, well, I would say yes. And I said, okay, great. Let me have my interviews and I'll get back to you. So I was telling a friend about that phone call I had with that other gentleman. And as I'm talking to her, a billboard on the interstate changes and it says Remax reach higher. And that was a brokerage she was at the time. And now I'm like, whew, holy shit.
Yeah.
So now I'm bawling hysterically and I compose myself and I turn on my radio and it was a Remax results commercial. And I was like, okay, there it is. He knows I need my signs. There's my sign. And during my struggles with that former team and not paying my bills and all the things that were going on in my life, there was a moment where I was physically brought to my knees. I'm at the edge of my bed and I've just surrendered at this point. And in my left ear, it says, your flood is coming. And I'm like, is that me thinking that? Or is that literally being spoken to? It says, your flood is coming. Your flood is coming. And it's getting stronger and stronger till I cannot force another thought into my brain. And I said, okay, there it is. So during that time I was with that other team, I thought that was my flood and I didn't understand why it wasn't working. And it was so frustrating because I was like, this was my moment, you know? And so to go from that to getting on this team, there's never been a year I haven't hit my 6 figures. And now to be able to do what I do and travel and meet people and impact lives, like this is my flood. So it's been an awesome journey.
I love that. Amber,
You're
thank
making me
you.
teary-eyed too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that brings me to something. I've never even told Jamie this story. When we talk, I call those God wings, Amber, those moments where you're like, you hear something, and you're like, nobody's in the room with me. That's happened twice to me. One time, no one was in the room with me, and I was like, am I going crazy? Going crazy. And then the second time, he spoke to me through someone who didn't even know me. Back at the October 2024, I was already building a team. I was still kind of frustrated because I looked at my P&L. I told Jamie I looked at my P&L yesterday for the quarter. And I went back to 2024, oddly enough, last night too. And I was like, man, that was an up and down freaking year. But October of that year, they had just joined our church. Their mom and dad and brother were like, in the music ministry already at our church. And Darius did not know me and Aaron. He sat in front of us for some reason. And that day, our pastor was like, okay, now turn around and speak to someone and pray together. I hate that part of church personally. Like, I'm an introvert. I'm that person that's like, don't talk to me when I come in. I'm running out as soon as it's over. I don't want to chit chat. But Darius is like this big teddy bear. And he turned around. And so he was like, I just heard the Lord tell me that you need to trust her talking to my husband, because what she is going to do for your family is going to make sure that your current generation and future generations don't have to struggle. Your lives are about to be changed financially. He had no idea that the night before, Aaron and I actually had a big ass argument. Like, we don't argue about anything. Well, our arguments mostly have been about finances and about like what most people get divorced over, like that, the hardship when one person is this big crazy dreamer and like he's in the military. So he's super like order, like there's no chaos. And when Darius told him that, y'all, like he just let go at that moment. And so 2025, every travel trip I had to go or I got to go on, every decision I made, every play, every late night, he didn't question anymore. He was like, you got this. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, so I believe in those moments, Amber, because I've had 2 of them now. And it was just so weird because Darius had no clue who Aaron and I was. And he didn't know about the fight we just had that night before.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? You know what I
Yeah.
caught? You said instead of have, you changed it to I got. And that's been something that I have been working on lately. Is like, I get to wake up and do this. And I get to go show homes. Like, it's such a game changer right now.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for every freaking day. Well, I don't know if we shared this on a podcast yet, Jamie, about my health stuff, but I'm like, every day to me is just a blessing. And even though it's hard scaling and building a company, especially that, revolves around human beings who are kind of unpredictable at times, we get to do this hard. And I just love it so much. And seeing how far you've come. I mean, it's not even one of the questions, but I gotta say, damn girl, you look good. Like, what made you decide I'm gonna go from 260? Because you're not even that tall. Like,
Yeah.
to carry
Five
all
and a
that.
half on a good day. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what made
I
you
mean,
decide to
obviously, life was rough for a while. I'm a stress eater, all the things. I mean, but I've been overweight my whole life. I mean, as a child, the whole thing. So my husband back then at the time was a very large man, and he had looked into the lap band surgery, but he's afraid of needles and all the things. Well, I had high blood pressure in my 20s, and sitting through that class, I learned that because I had that, my insurance would cover it, and I was like, well, I'll do it. Game on. And so the lap band just helps with restriction and helps you eat less. So it's one piece of the puzzle, right? So I was able to lose a good chunk with that. Like you have to lose so much before they'd even qualify you for the surgery. And then you know, obviously lose a lot when all of a sudden you can only eat a cup of food and all the things. But then there's still several years in there where, you know what, the cookie went down real easy if I'm not being active enough, you know, all the things. So definitely up and down on the weight spectrum there. And then some gentlemen in my office, we had gotten into a weight loss competition in the fall. And I was like, first to 10. And they're like, yeah, but you're a woman. We've got more to lose. And I was like, I don't care. First to 10. I'm competitive. And then I really started hitting it hard and had gotten a trainer to just help with form because I really wanted to take on lifting. You know, I'm 44. I got perimenopause in my face. I want to do the whole body recomposition thing and really just transform my 40s for me. So of course I won the competition. And then I just kept going. And then in December, I was still doing the gym kind of different hours of the day and just whenever it worked. And it wasn't a good schedule. And then I realized my mornings suck. You know, I'll lay in bed, I'll hit snooze, I'll finally get up. I'm still tired. My dogs stink around. They want more pup cups. You know, it was still chaotic and I'm somehow still late for work, even though I've been up since 5. Like that's bullshit. So then I just had to have a little heart to heart with myself and be like, I need to optimize my time. I need to show up for myself, prioritize me, but also to be able to lead the amount of people I'm leading. I need it to be better. And if I was going to do that, it needed to start with the morning. And so now my alarm goes off at 4:30. I'm hitting the gym by 5:15. I'm lifting for 45, and then my dogs get walks for another, 3.5 miles. That was just huge for me. And I'm almost at 200 days of tracking my food and my macros and doing everything I can to just completely change my future.
That is so
And no more
inspiring.
medications, right?
That's so inspiring. So, Amber, you lead a team of 160 agents now, right?
Mhm.
Wow, that's a lot. That's amazing. So,
No.
what's one system that you built that you personally needed that nobody handed to you?
Everything. It's so funny. I mean, when Grant and I started this, we had one admin and it was me and 4 old dudes, you know?
Was the vision always to be this big when it was just y'all?
I don't
Like,
maybe in Grant's head. I don't know. I don't know why I was just like, I'm along for the ride, you know? I just embraced it. And I just remember just those awkward times when we were 13 agents and you're fighting to get it bigger and you don't know how. And then I think back to those times like, wow, it was fun. It was intimate and just different. And then you get to 30 and you think, shit, what happens if we get to 50? And you always have to see beyond that corner to be like, yeah, it works now at this level, but it's not going to work when we hit that level. And it's certainly not going to work when we hit that next level. And for us as a team, we run incredibly lean for our size. And I'm just incredibly thankful that I was instilled with such a strong work ethic that my partners, my admin, like everybody carries that with them as well, because we could not do what we do if we were not as efficient as we are. But I think a lot of it came down to like, we got to see beyond that corner. It's not working. We have to pivot. Grant's big motto the last couple of years is gas pedals on the right. And so that I'm like, all right, game on, gas pedals on the right. And so you have to change things that aren't working right away. You have to be willing to admit they're not working. You have to trust and let go of control.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just really scary when you get to the size. You have a lot of people relying on you. But at the end of the day, I will always go back to agents' personal responsibility, and I can't want it more than they do. And if I did this without a Zillow, without a Realtor.com, without my phone ringing me, they can do it too. And I will be doing them a disservice if I don't hammer in the prospecting lifestyle, because you will never make it long term in this industry if you cannot wrap your head around what your job really is.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have people visit our team meetings often, and we had someone visit us for our go to the board day. I'm sure y'all do go to the board. I don't know how the hell you do it at this size that y'all are at. Like we're at 36 now. Y'all are at 160. I can't imagine. Go to the board would be like a whole week event, but it was heavy on prospecting. Like we had people that were ahead of their goal. They didn't realize it because they're just, gas pedals on the right. And then we had folks like slightly behind and they're like, I just wanted to make more dials. Like I'm going to do more dials to catch up. And I'm like, we scared this person away because she does not come from a prospecting team, right? When she's
Yeah.
looking to leave. So, Amber, my question for you, because, I want to grow out Max House to be 100 plus agents. Like, my goal is to make us a number one team in Tennessee. And that's a lofty goal here in Tennessee. But what does accountability look like with 160 plus agents? Like, on a day to day basis, how do you hold your agents accountable?
Some of you can't. And that's the hard thing, is accepting that. We do weekly accountability meetings. We've got accountability meetings for that lead source, this lead source. If you want to earn your way to those, there's some that just require that. And that's just how it is. I really try to reach people where they're at. I want to honor their goals, and I don't want to press my goals on them. They're never going to succeed if that's the case.
Yeah.
But I had a moment this morning on one of my accountability groups, and I just sat back and I looked at the women that were in front of me, and I thought, God, I am really proud of where they're at, because every single one of them has exceeded their goals. And a lot of times it comes down to their belief in their self. Like, it blows my mind to not be able to just think you can do it. But I've been there, right? We've all been there.
Been there, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's really about dissecting what's going on in their life and allowing them to get really personal with me so I can help coach them through that, especially with women, with children. I did it to myself too back in the day, to not say yes because you're afraid of the what ifs. Well, if I get too busy, I can't do this with my kid. Or what if I have to be there to get them off the bus and I have a showing? How many times do you have a showing every day at 3:30? Zero. So you've already made up a bullshit story about why you can't succeed and why you shouldn't be busier, because you can't manage it all. And it hasn't even happened to you yet. And so coaching through those moments, and one of my gals, like, she's just kicking ass and taking names. And she had to set boundaries with the family and her husband and make sure they're helping with the cleaning. And I told her, like, when I started out, my little guy, he's a big guy now. He's going to be 17. He was, 6. And we're living in the 735 square foot apartment, and I'm going to take this on. Well, everybody has to be on the same page. And so for Mason at the time, took the hallway, took contact paper and put it down the hall, and we drew little houses. And I said, okay, when mommy sells this many houses, you get this prize. When mommy sells this many houses, then it's this prize. That kid was so happy to kick me out of the house for showings, because he'd say, you're going to go sell a house? I'm like, boy, mommy's going to try. That's why I'm leaving you, right? And so that was such a big component of me being able to be successful in the beginning, was just getting buy-in from those family members that needed. And he was a huge accountability partner. I mean, like, they're going to be on your ass. They want their toys. So it's just finding that tool I have in my toolbox from my life to be able to share that when I'm finding those moments where I need to pepper that experience in to help my agents.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That segues into my next thought. So, like, Amber, when you're bringing new agents to join your team, like, what's the first thing that you're building into them to give them that belief of what's possible?
That's a good question. I had this new gal, and she's struggling. She's got a lot of personal stuff going on. And so it's very easy to see me sit in this chair and be like, oh, look at her, she's dolled up, whatever. But I had to be like, this is how I started. And I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell every other agent. And this is where you're not going to listen to me. So I'm going to ask you to be different than the other people that haven't listened before you. You need to understand you are capable. You can do this, but you have to be willing to put in the work. I was prospecting 6 hours a day in the beginning. So I don't want to hear somebody say they can't, because you can, and you're going to set a lot of appointments. You're going to sell a lot of homes, but only if you want it. And so I'll have that hard discussion with them right away, so they know what is expected of them, what they're capable of. We have so many leads. I mean, there's no excuse, right? But I'm pretty direct in the beginning to make sure that they understand what their job is.
Yeah. And it sounds like you guys group them into different accountability groups. How do you structure your day, being, I'm assuming a lot of your agents are virtual with you guys having teams? Okay. What does that look like? Because I'm sure our listeners that are building teams out, because I will be honest with you, now that we're at 36, I think, getting to 20 was daunting. I was like, I don't want to do that. It's a lot. And now we're growing to 50. I'm like, I know I'm going to break something else. So I would love just for you to coach me selfishly too, but also for our our listeners, for them to know how you structure that out to where it's manageable to impact so many more people.
Yep. So I take my Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I have a lovely backup agent that helps when I can't be there. But they're 30 minutes, boom, 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 throughout my entire morning, and I cluster them together. So I know which ones may not show up every time. I can stack those a little bit more, and I know which ones need more time. And so you learn your people as best you can.
Mhm.
And then with my Fridays, that's our Zillow day. And for that, I was like, I've got way too many people. What am I going to do? And so I said, all right, meeting is from 9 to 11. Show up whenever you can in there. I don't want to hear that you've got something going on because I've given you a huge window. And so I just stay on screen and they just pop up. We run our numbers and we move on with our day. So
So there's no one-on-ones. It's like is it
it's
big
groups.
okay, groups
Group
only.
Groups, yeah.
accountability. Wow.
Yep. And then Katie runs our one for realty.com, and that is on Tuesdays before we start script club and the team meeting.
Yeah. There is so much we can talk about with the journey that you and Grant have had. Because you guys, how many deals are you closing a year now?
800 some.
800. What were
That's
you
awesome.
closing? Well, what was he closing when you first came alongside him for this journey?
I can't imagine we would have been at more than 100.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So my first year with Grant, so I started in October. By December, I had 4 closings. That first full year with him, I was at 31. My next year, I was at 40. And so I still remember there's an older gentleman who was like, she's making me look bad. And I was like, no, man, you're making yourself look bad.
Yep.
We were so mad. I was on my phone all the time. I was like, if the lead comes in, I was claiming it. It was mine.
Yeah.
I had-
So
I was-
going from less than 100 to like over 800 deals now, at what point did he hire other folks to come alongside you? Because you mentioned someone else that's in operations. Was she always there? Katie? Yeah.
Katie started as marketing a couple years ago.
Okay.
She's delightful. She's like the sweetest person you're ever going to meet. And she's so funny when she'd be like, I kind of got angry. I kind of got mean. And I'm like, well, what is it? And she shows me the email and I was like, oh, girl, that is so nice. That's not even remotely mean. She's just the nicest person you're ever going to meet. And so sometimes I'll be like, do you want me to get my anger on and back you up? She's like, yeah, And I'm like, I'm fine with that role. People know.
Yeah. Well, you're the director of sales, and I call my director of sales, his name is Shane. I'm like, he's the hammer, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know the face. I'm the one that meet with a lot of people that think about joining Max House, but that person that holds folks accountable have to like say it with kindness and clarity. Here's
Yeah.
what you have to do. He's usually so straight sometimes. I'm like, Shane, no, it's kind of mean. He's like, that's what you hired me for. Like, it's not mean,
Yeah.
Britt. Like, you just would have
No.
softened it a little bit, but I'm sure you and him are so similar. So I would love for him to fly up and like see how you run things up there.
Yeah. Wyatt knew I was doing this and he was like, can we exchange? I want to talk to Britany. And I'm like, I love Britany. Yeah. Sheplack has referred to me as the Velvet Hammer.
Really?
Yeah.
You're the hammer?
Yeah. It was so cute as on Mother's Day, my son wrote me a card and he called me the Velvet Hammer to him as well. And it was so sweet.
Yes. I love
That's
that.
awesome.
Well, with you guys going into the second half of the year, what is something you have your team really focused on to make sure that production doesn't slip? Like, this is what we call separation season. So, Amber, what do you have you guys like totally dialed in on?
We are building a big project right now. We're
Ooh.
calling it GJG Edge. We used to do Hello Week for our new agents, and then they started doing a Hello Week intensive for experienced agent just to bring you back to that prospecting mindset. And so
Mhm,
that's what that
mhm.
week is supposed to be. And bless their hearts, the people that were doing it, you've got agents showing up late and leaving early and all the things that agents do, right? And maybe I'm just so hardened by like, yeah, we're going to do it. Be like, I've stopped being mad at it,
Yeah.
But we knew we needed more. And so I've been building this training out kind of a la Keller Williams Bold-ish, right? So that we get that mindset piece in there where you're still getting the content you need regarding your pipeline and your buyers, your sellers, all the things that we deal with. And we're going to run it starting in August. It'll be every Wednesday for a full day. It'll end with prospecting time. Have to hit their weekly goals then. But we're also going to be bringing in a lot of our experienced agents to help teach those courses because I think it's important to have different voices. They'll say the same thing, but somehow it comes out different and it can resonate. And so we're really excited for that. And then we're revamping our new agent training. And so that's going to be called Academy. And we are relying a lot on AI. But the thought process there was she makes these lovely Loom videos explaining things and how you do this and how you find that. So everybody has a resource, but then she then gets peppered as she's now their go-to, right? And we want to
Yeah.
take that responsibility off of Shayna. So we used an AI gal to explain things. We've got them in written form. They'll have the videos to watch. And after Monday night's meeting with Shep, I texted Grant and Katie and I was like, here's the deal. New agents, if they don't finish those video courseworks and homework end of week 1, they're gone. Next week, if they make their calls that they're supposed to make, they're gone. I can't live in a space where they don't engage and just start because I'm not going to chase them down. Like
Yeah.
you just show up for yourself. And if you can't do that, I'm out. Those that are willing to show up and work, by God, I will do everything in my power to make sure they're successful.
So good. So we're going to come up there so I can see this program in person.
Yep.
I'm like, we need that. We need enough. You know what I actually have behind me? I'm a 3-time graduate. Yep. Yep. I started at too. So yeah.
Did you? Yeah. That's where I started at the front desk. And even after I joined with Grant and he was at Remax, I think he saw the hustle. And I still remember him saying, like, I'm going to do everything I can to make you as successful as possible. And I was like, all right, like I'm throwing a lot of trust at this. And he signed us up for Bold, even though we were at the other brokerage. And there was a day I was going to do the Bold 100. My appendix was going out on me. So I didn't sleep well. I didn't know it was my appendix at the time. That next morning, like I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, in pain. And I'm like, I just gotta get my snacks. I'm gonna lock myself in the room. I get to the office and Grant, we had a meeting at like 1 o'clock or something. He's like, you really don't look good. Are you sure it's not your appendix? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. No excuses. I have to do the Bold 100. And he's like, could you make a doctor's appointment at the very least? I was like, okay, fine. Well, they couldn't get me in until like the next day or something. And finally, he's like, would you let me take you to the emergency room, please? He's like, there's an urgency room not too far from. I had only been on the team like 3 weeks. So I am mortified. And I don't want him to think that I'm not giving my all and I'm full of excuses already.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, it's fine. Okay, fine. I'll go to the doctor. He's like, can I drive you? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. That walk to my car and getting in my car was the most painful experience that I knew at that point, like, I really didn't want to drive myself, but I also didn't want to have to get out of my car and back in. So I still drove myself. Sure enough, it was my appendix. And I think he contacted me that night or the next morning. He said, what do you need? And I said, bring me my laptop. Wow. And so I was still sending emails that next day. Yeah. And then I worked like hell to get out of there because I had trick-or-treating with my son coming up. So
you're a mad woman, Amber.
That is amazing. That's dedication.
I just didn't want him to think I was one of those people that was going to pull excuses right away after I joined the team. And yeah.
It's a fine
But
line,
that brings us back too to like the title of Scale Like a Savage, right? Like you are a freaking savage just going for it and making no excuses.
Yep. Yeah. So, sometimes I don't always have the most sympathy for other people when their excuses are bullshit.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to ask the right questions for them to realize their excuses are bullshit.
I'm still working on that. Because I'm like, everything that I freaking did when I was fighting for my life with a freaking baby at home, like it makes it really, really hard for me to be like, this is stupid. You're dumb. Like, come on. Like, fuck this person. Like, I don't like, yeah, it's so hard. I'm working on it. Amber, so you have a trick. I would love to.
Yeah. One day at a time.
So Amber,
right?
I have to ask you, we ask everybody that comes on Scale, and I'd love to hear your interpretation of this, but what does it mean for you to scale like a savage?
I think it goes back to that gas pedal is on the right, no excuses mentality. You figure it out. Keep your head in the game and you just push forward.
I love it.
It's so good.
Amber, thank you so much for your time today. We had questions we didn't even get a chance to get to, but we respect your time as well as our listening audience. But guys, if you want to follow up with Amber, where can they follow you at to connect with you online?
I hate to even admit, like, I'm just not online a lot, to like myself out there. I would follow the Grant Johnson group and then obviously my Instagram, Urlacher Realtor or Realtor.
Yeah. Urlacher Realtor.
Thank you. See, I need to take a page out of your book, Britany, and be able to put my business self out there more.
I just post it all and I'm like, I don't care if you don't like it. Like, it's just what it is.
I love that. I love that so much.
I love seeing your workout videos when you started posting them. And then I believe, so you posted something that I'm going to actually do. I gave away all of my clothes that were too big last weekend. Like it was stacked tall in the hallway and I saved one pair because I'm going to do the jean because I love those pants. And I'm like, holy shit, babe. I was like, Aaron, you didn't tell me I was wide as all outside. Like you did not. He's like, but I love your butt. And I'm like, man, it was too much. Like, it was just too much. So I'm
Isn't
going
that
to post
wild?
it because I saw you post something similar. And I'm like, that just really shows because I still don't see it sometimes and realize I'm a medium now, Jamie. We realized it.
Yes.
On
Yeah,
you. That
That was
is
fun shopping with you the other day.
yeah.
There are
'Cause
so
I
many
still
times I'll
go.
look and be like, that's not gonna fit. And then I'll put it on, I'll be big, and I'm like, oh shit.
I
Okay.
still go for the bigger sizes because in
Yeah.
my mind has not caught up to reality. And that just we can do a whole episode on that one, Jamie.
100%. 100%. So,
Yeah. Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to learn all about Amber and the incredible things her and the Grant Johnson group are doing. If you guys go to our website, you'll be able to download the playbook from everything Amber shared with us. And she also gave us some more stuff behind the scenes that we're going to upload into that download for the execution playbook, right, Jamie? That's
Yes, that's awesome.
okay. Awesome.
Educate and execute.
Yeah, just execute on everything she's talking about. It takes hard work, but we're going to give you guys like a tactical roadmap to get there. Amber, we appreciate you so much.
thank you. I
And
appreciate
until
you.
next Friday, guys, we'll see you and hear from you again, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Scale Like a Savage, the podcast. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Amber, for being here.
It was so much fun. Thank you.